So there's dozens of kids out, maybe in their early 20s, late teens. They're stoked on reggae. They're stoked on punk, ska,
Right.
whatever it may be, right? They're putting songs together. Maybe they're with their band. Maybe they're producing. What's
Right.
what's something that how do I say this? What's some realistic advice that you would give them just straight up, just off the top, so that maybe they're steering their hardships a little smarter when they come there.
I, I would say get your the business side of things together. Today I was just with the Rise Roots. We've been going back and forth with our publishing and our royalties, and so it's important to have your publishing together. Get your ASCAP or your BMI together. Have that registered. So when you get your releases, you start putting out your stuff. It's legit, and you could get a check. And if you're lucky to, we've been blessed enough to get some things picked up by Sirius XM.
Mhm.
The Joint in particular has been playing Arise Roots. I think we've had the past 3 or 4 singles on rotation, so that's been a major blessing for us
Yeah.
financially. And the next thing I would really push for up and coming artists who want to do that is get your merchandise together. If you're trying to do the money thing, obviously nobody's touring right now because of the current situation, but when things get back up, it's very important to have a good amount of merch at your shows and hit the road, because that's really where you can really make your money. Big variety of merchandise and in publishing and
Yeah.
just work hard. I mean, if you don't write songs, you're not going to make anything. So it's everything. You got to write, rehearse, record, and tour, and just keep doing that cycle over and over and over again, and until you start climbing up that ladder and building your fan base and doing it. It's a lot of work, but that's what I've been focusing on.
Yeah. Um, some people would probably hear all this and say, "Well, damn. I mean, that's probably a lot of obligations. With my current situation at home, or maybe it's just a little too much to handle. Is there, I don't know, an easy way to do this just because I see other people doing it?"
It's definitely a leap of faith, I would say. It's like if you are down,
Mhm.
you gotta kind of be all in.
Yeah.
You gotta be ready to jump in a van with your buddies and be uncomfortable for, it's not, you're gonna be living out of your suitcase for a while, but it's
Yeah.
basically just getting in a van and going, hitting the road and booking your stuff and doing it. You just gotta dive in, so to speak.
Yeah. So has there ever been, maybe, you don't have to mention any names or anything, but has there ever been a situation where maybe, I don't know, you're been on the road and maybe like a fellow comrade just kind of just threw their arms up one day? It was like, yo, I'm honestly tired
Oh,
of
I quit.
like
Oh man,
I'm
I'm
just,
done. I quit. I'm out. It happens all the time. It's like people
yeah.
touring's really tough. It's like, in breakdowns, you break down in the middle of nowhere. There's all kinds of trials and tribulations that come along with touring, but it usually works itself out in the end. If,
Yeah, I think also, something that's popular amongst people that go on tour, at least from what I've been told from friends that I have, is something that's really kind of like a common thing is like, oh, what are you doing when you get back home? I'm definitely not chilling. I'm searching for a job as soon as I get back. Like.
right.
So like in terms of present day, obviously not with the coronavirus in context, but more just kind of your experience throughout the years. What's like the biggest challenge that you found, like having like your regular life when you got back, making sure things were stable, and then being able to take those weeks or months or whatever it was to be able to go on tour and push the music and come
You
back?
know, I had a very fortunate situation with my job out in Lake Hughes for almost, I think, about 17, 18 years now. I work for a place called Canyon Creek Summer Camp,
Okay.
and we're a kids camp. And I worked there and I basically would just use my vacay time or take leaves to tour. And they were so cool enough to be able to let me do that. Like
Mm.
a lot of places wouldn't have that, of course. So my personal situation, I was very blessed to be able to come home and work. As soon as I get home, I would literally get off tour and go to work the next day. It was really like, the past few years, I really didn't have any kind of vacation time really. I would work a 40-hour job, and and go on tour
Yeah.
and come back. And that was,
Yeah. And that
you
was
know,
your
so
solution.
yeah, it's definitely important to, I would say, to keep some kind of day job if you can, you know, to have something to come back to, because you're right. It's not easy out there on the road. And,
Mhm.
but you got to, if you, as long as you're prepared, you know, like I mentioned before, your merchandise is crucial out on the road. You know, have a product, you know, have your releases pressed and ready to go. Um, and you know, do your best to get your guarantees and do all your promotion right and all that stuff. And it's it'll be, eventually it becomes a snowball effect. You know, you kind of, you know, your fan base gets bigger and bigger, you know, with each tour, following up the tours you did last time, coming back, you know,
Mhm.
and then, you know, you'll see your attendance gets a
Mhm.
little bigger each time you come back to those cities. But it's a lot of touring. Like 2019 for me, I toured Europe with the Aggrolites. I toured Japan with the Aggrolites, US and Canada with the Rise Roots, and just all the local stuff with the other bands. So it's a lot of, between all the bands I play in, I'd spend a lot of time on the road. I'd say I probably did, last year I probably did close to, if not more, 200 shows.
Damn.